guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Debbie. I am a money coach and I love sharing tips on how to save money so that you can take control of your finances and change your life. And today I'm gonna say a requested video. I was on a live with at Penny's Place and we were talking about meal planning and how to save money on groceries. And the response that I got on my Instagram, I was blown away. I'm like, okay, you guys want some tips? I've got you covered. When I am helping people with their budgets, one of the major categories that we come across are always groceries and restaurants. And I'm not saying not to eat at a restaurant. I know before everything went down with the quarantine, my husband and I loved to go out to eat once a month. It was our date night and I lived for that day because it was just him and I, no kid talk, no kids around, grown-up conversations on a lovely meal, and I loved every minute of it. I miss it. I can't wait to go back. So I am not saying to not eat out at all, but when you are on a limited income or you're living paycheck to paycheck, sometimes we tend to eat out because we don't have time or planned ahead in order to make the most of your groceries. So I really feel like meal planning is such an important tool to have in your back pocket so you can save money on groceries. When my husband and I looked at our finances for the first time, one of the categories that I was like, I can slash this in half was our grocery budget. I've mentioned it before, but we used to shop without a plan, even though it was healthy ingredients. We used to shop weekly and we used to spend between $280 and $290 a week to feed our family of 5. To now that we actually have a plan and we stick to it, and meal planning, I can't say enough about it. We now pay $180 a week for everything, not just groceries, but every toiletry, personal items, everything, $180 a week. Just by making that change and dedicating a little bit of time just once a week to coming up with a plan and coming up with how we're going to make meals for the week, and I'm gonna go into all of it in detail, that saved us over $5,000 at the end of the year. That alone helped us pay off a credit card. That's how important it is to look at what you spend on groceries and how you're able to save money. So I can't wait to share these tips with you. And I'm not even gonna name them because to me, they're more like steps. So let's go over step number 1. Here we go. Step number 1 is to look at your calendar. And the reason why I want you to look at your calendar is for 2 reasons, actually. The first is you want to see if there are any activities that you have to be rushing around for, either whether it's you by yourself or you with your kids or your family. If there's a day that you have to do a lot of errands or you have to rush around and you didn't plan for a meal, you know more than likely you're going to end up going through a drive-through. Last time I went through a drive-through, I wasn't feeling well, and that's the only reason why. I was running some errands and I was just coming down with like the worst cold, and I was like, okay, I'm not cooking, I'm gonna go lay down. So I went through a drive-through, and I won't say the name of the restaurant, but what I will say is I spent $50 on that one meal, and I was like, are you kidding me? For $50 I could have probably made 5 to maybe even 6 dinners for my family, and instead we spent it on 1, and I didn't even like it. So there you go. The second reason why you want to look at your calendar is because you want to see if there's any days where you're going to go over a family or friend's house and you're going to share a meal there. Because if that's the case, then now instead of planning, for example, 7 dinners, now you're cutting 1 down and you're doing 6. So that's another reason why looking at your calendar can save you money. Now, step number 2 is usually when I get people to go, oh gosh, that takes some time. And it really doesn't have to, I promise. Step number 2, what I do is I just grab a notebook, one of the old notebooks that the kids don't use anymore, and I just grab it and that's what I use. I don't have anything fancy. And I look quickly at what I have in the fridge, the freezer, and the pantry. Some people call it shopping your kitchen first, which I think is so catchy. So the reason why you want to look, and I'm not saying write everything down, unless you really are unsure of yourself as to how to do this, and then you might want to write everything down and categorize it: fridge, freezer, or pantry. But honestly, you don't have to. The whole reason why I want you to do this is because as you're looking in the fridge, freezer, and the pantry, I want you to start looking at not only what you have on hand, but what meals you can make with it. And that's what I want you to write down. Don't worry about what day of the week you're gonna do what. But now that you have already looked at your calendar, you know how many days of the week you're going to need for dinners. So now the next step is to shop your kitchen. So for example, if I have a package of chicken in the freezer and I have some breadcrumbs in the pantry, I know that if I have tomato sauce and I can make my own sauce, I am going to make probably chicken parm. So what ingredient do I need? If I don't have mozzarella cheese, only mozzarella cheese is going to get added to my shopping list. Now I've made an entire dinner and all I've bought is a block of mozzarella cheese, right? One down, right? So that's what I want you to do. I want you to look, and as you're looking, get creative and think to yourself, I can do this, I can do this, I can do that, and write it down. You'd be surprised as to how many meals you can make with just what you have at home and maybe like 2 or 3 other ingredients that you don't have at home. Don't try to do things too lavish, like, a steak dinner with all these other things. Because again, the more complicated you make it, especially in the beginning, more likely you're going to say, this is too hard, that's okay. So instead, I want you to keep things simple, at least for the first few weeks. Once you get the hang of it and you can do it quicker and you get motivated when you see the savings add up in your account because it's less money that you've used on groceries, then of course become a master chef and go for it. But in the beginning, it's so important to keep things simple. So let's say that, for example, there's one day that you're going to be not at home and you're going to be at a family or friend's house. So 7 meals have become 6. Let's just use that as an example. Now let's say that after you shopped your kitchen, you've come up with at least 3 other dinners, right? So now 7, right, became 6, and now it's 3. But is it 3? No, it's not 3. It's actually 2, because I want you to plan that your last dinner is going to be leftovers. Because more than likely, no matter how you do it, you're going to end up with leftovers. And the last day, which I'll get to, I dedicated leftovers, and it's so much fun. But anyway, so 7 became 6, 6 became 3, 3 became 2. So now you're like, okay, Debbie, I have 2 dinners I have to make. Now what? But first of all, I want you to have a running list either on the side of the fridge in one of those little 99-cent pads, or we use our, I'm gonna say it slowly, Alexa. Okay, good, she didn't hear me. And as we go through the week, my entire family adds items that we are running low on to you-know-who. And the reason is because in that way, when I'm doing our shopping, which I shop online, I won't miss an ingredient, for example, a spice or something that someone realized that we're running out of, or, one of their favorite yogurts and things like that. So they're my backup. So then that way nothing falls through the cracks. But now we're going to concentrate on those 2 meals, right? So here we go. Step number 3. So step number 3 is to now look at your supermarket flyer. Now, I've heard comments from you guys before as far as the circulars and whether or not you get them. Here in New Jersey, we get a free copy of all the circulars in a bag and it's thrown at our doorstep. But if you don't have it, there is such a great app I have to tell you about, and that's called the Flip app. The Flip app is fantastic because it gives you the online circular for every store that you want to shop at. And you can go through it just as if you had a physical copy of the circular in front of you, which is so important, and I'll tell you why. So when you're looking at the circular, you have to think of the supermarket as a business. If you just look at it as just a place where you go shopping at, you're going to miss so many things. In fact, I have an entire video that I did live on how supermarkets trick you to spend more money, and I'm gonna link that at the end. It is mind-blowing how much they try to trick you. So when you're looking at the circular and you need to come up with those 2 meals, what you're going to do is look at the front page of the circular and the last page of the circular. The reason why you want to start at the first page and then pretty much stop is because on the first page, they have what they call their loss leaders. The loss leaders are all of the items that they have marked down to the point where they're probably not going to make a profit on it. In fact, they're taking a loss on it. And why would a supermarket do that? Because they want to get you through the door. If they have a roast, for example, that's supposed to be $10 and they have it for $4 or $5, they're taking a loss on it and they're counting on you being like, oh, that roast, it looks so good. I'm going to go shop now, right? If you just go and get what you need and leave, the supermarket lost. And again, that video goes into the description on everything that I want to reference, but I don't want to make this video too long. So by shopping the first page and the last page, that's where the savings are. So try your best to look at the items on the first page and the last page and try to make your 2 meals out of those items. Try to avoid looking at all the pages in between because they're what people call fluff, right? What that means is it'll say, for example, 10 cans of tomato sauce, buy 10 and save. Yeah, how much am I saving? Probably like 10 cents, but they've gotten you to buy 10 cans of that tomato sauce. It's not worth it. 99% of the stuff that's in between those pages is honestly just them trying to trick you to buy more items. So just stick to the first page and the last page, and that's where the savings are. So now that you have your grocery list of items that you needed, that you ran out of during the week, and what you're going to shop for, specifically for only the meals that you need to make for that week, now you're going to then go shopping. And one suggestion that I make is if you're going to go inside the store, eat a snack before you go. Because I'm telling you, those Oreos, they just magically end up in my cart when I go physically into the stores, which has been a while. I've been an online shopper for quite a while now. But when I've gone hungry, those Oreos, they're like, hey, I'm 2 for $6. And that rotisserie chicken's like, hey, don't I smell good? I'm like, no, 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 no. So by sticking to your list and eating a snack before you go, you will see such savings. But I would suggest, in order to even save even more, try to shop for your groceries online. If you have a grocery store that delivers for free or for a small subscription, the amount that you will save by shopping online is crazy. I was able to drop an additional $20 to $30 a week when I started ordering my groceries online. I pay a really small fee, it's less than $5, and I tip obviously for the person to come. But even with the tip and the fee, I still save so much money because by adding everything that you need to your grocery list online, you're seeing your balance accumulate, right? And then at the end, if you see that you've gone over budget, because you still have to stick with that number, whatever your magic number is, stick with that number in your mind. When you see that you've gone over, look at your items again and think to yourself, do I really need that? I'm telling you, sometimes when I'm shopping online, a carton of ice cream is gonna pop into my cart. I'm like, how'd you get there? I haven't stepped into the store. But if it's not something on my list and it's not something that we need for the week, and I see that my total has exceeded it, even with the fee, even with the tip, I'm like, nope, that carton of ice cream can wait till the following week. So it's added savings for you to shop online if you can. But if you can't, just stick to the list. Go to the designated aisle in the supermarket. Don't go browsing. I'm telling you, again, that video will probably save you so much money that I'm gonna link at the end. But between like the music and the smells, and if you go hungry, you're doomed. Like you're doomed. I'm telling you, you will look at that cart and you'll be like, oh my gosh, that's not what's on my list. But they get you. So by going into the supermarket and sticking to your list and just going to the designated aisles that you need to go to, get what you need and get out. And you will see the savings, because meal planning not only saves you money, but also it saves you on the ingredients that you have in the house. Think about it this way. By going through a quick inventory of what you have, not only are you shopping your kitchen first, but you're avoiding anything going bad, because nothing is going to get pushed to the back of the shelves, right? Nothing's going to get pushed to the back of the freezer, and then you're going to look at it one day and be like, what was that? If it's there, you're using it. So you will see such a big difference with your savings by doing meal planning. And now let's talk about that last day. What I do is the day before I go grocery shopping, I empty out the fridge. I take out all of the leftovers. And of course, we've had leftovers for lunch throughout the week as well. But I'm telling you, you're gonna end up with leftovers when you start cooking more at home. And what I do is I take out the leftovers, I lay them out buffet style and heat them all up. I call my family down and they know, oh yay, it's leftover day. And all of a sudden you'll see them excited about leftovers and you're like, are you okay? But the reason why is because they're not just like sitting down to have one dinner that everyone is having and, oh yeah, everybody's having this. No, they get to come down and they get to say, oh, I want this tonight and I want this and I want this and I want that. By giving kids a selection for one day a week, it's an added bonus to them. It really is, because now they have a choice, and kids love to have a choice, I'm sure you know, on what they're gonna eat for dinner. So by having that one day of leftovers and strategically planning it the day before you're going grocery shopping, that's gonna avoid anything getting pushed to the back of the fridge to die, because you're taking everything out, you're heating everything up, and that fridge by that point should be pretty bare. So again, you're using up everything you have, and then you're shopping your kitchen and you're only buying what you need. And that's where the savings is. When I tell you $5,000 is a lot of money to us, it's not just something that I'm just like, oh, it's 5,000. It's a lot of money to us. We saw such big savings, and I was able to pay off my first credit card when we started doing this journey because of simply meal planning. And if you think to yourself, I don't have 40 minutes, for example, to do this, think about it this way. Let's say you're going to save $100 a week by meal planning compared to what you were spending before. Is 45 minutes of your time worth $100 a week? How about $5,200 at the end of the year, right? By breaking it down, you will see that it's not just 45 minutes of your time that you don't have. It's, I'm going to save this much money with 45 minutes of my time. By changing your mindset, you will be more motivated to give this a try. Please let me know in the comment section down below if you're new to meal planning, how you like these tips, and if there's any other area of your budget that you want me to cover in giving you some money saving tips. Well, I hope you liked this video and found it helpful, but if you need additional help from me, I'm gonna leave a link to my calendar down below. Feel free to schedule a 30-minute free clarity call with me. I'd love to see where you are on your financial journey and how I can help you succeed with your money. And I do hope that you liked this video and found it helpful. If you did, please click the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe and to click on that bell. And I'll see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching.